Hello and welcome to episode 15 of FPL Journey to 10K, the podcasting series that is all about helping you to think like a top 10K finishing manager. And how do we do that? Of course, like all the other podcasts and the Twitter pages you're following, we'll talk about the fixtures, we'll talk about the form, and we'll talk about everything else the stats and all that jazz. But what we've got in our pockets that those other things don't have is the advice and the guidance of one of the best players on the planet. Just to give you those stats again, average finish is 6,500, top 10K finish in 6 of the last 7 seasons, and going into this season was ranked the 5th best player in the world. That is, of course, Mr. Matt Corbridge. Matt, how are you? Welcome back. We're back together. How well done for flying the flag solo last week.
I know, back to a great opener, right? So I had to witness it, experience it firsthand. How tough it is to come up with an opener to a YouTube video or podcast, whatever you want to kind of class this as. So yeah, I've got a newfound respect for you, mate. You make it look easy. You make it look easy.
Appreciate it. Yeah, but I've told you before, you're the talent, you're the one with the knowledge. You're helping me get to the top 10K finish. That is, you're there for the knowledge. I can worry about the rest of it.
Yeah.
But I watched every single minute of what you recorded, and I absolutely loved it. Even Focal message to say you did well in flying the flag solo. So big props.
Yeah, that is a validation from the experts, right?
Yeah, exactly. That former world number one, ranked first in the world, Focal, right? So he's
I'm surprised he's been so friendly though. He should be viewing us as the competition. Maybe that's telling. He knows we're so amateur.
Maybe he's like, these boys will never get here. We need to get a phrase like "Welcome to another video." Well, we'll see how we get on. But yeah, well, how was your week?
Yeah, I mean, I'm presuming bad because, like we were saying before we started recording, I haven't even looked at my team because I knew it was a bad game week, and yeah, I'm looking at the title of the episode, "Worst Game Week Ever" again. So yeah, I think I got one attacking return. I think I got one return in my whole team. But yeah, I guess all will be revealed like shortly. So yeah, I think it's a pretty bad one. I just hope you did worse than me. That's what I'm hoping.
I did. So, for those that do follow us and have watched a few of our episodes, you'll know a couple of weeks ago, episode 6 maybe, there was a title, Worst Game Week Ever. And I thought, things can't go worse. And then this game week happened. So I'll bring up the scores on the doors. And I did do worse, because you got one attack and return, and let's be honest about it, even your attack and return was controversial. Should the Gordon goal have stood? I don't think you care, because it did. I didn't get any. My highest scoring player was Gibbs White with 3 points. So, yeah, grand total of 18 for me. Big red arrow down from 1.49 million to 2.18 million. I'm not on 300 points. That's clearly not been updated. You can ignore that. The important point is 2.18 million, so a red arrow down. I'm not going to go through the team. It's all correct. It's full of Mike scores, ones and twos, a couple of zeros. But this is going to sound weird to you. It could have been worse, right? So what I mean by that is I nearly started Taylor with his home game. I nearly played Taylor instead of Gabriel because I thought Newcastle might win that. So that's a point extra playing Gabriel. And I nearly started Dan Burn over Solanke and hoped for a 0-0 in the Arsenal Toon game. Luckily, I didn't. Or Newcastle clean sheet even. And they did get a clean sheet, but obviously he went off at half time. So that's 2 points saved. And then my transfer was going to be Porro to Simicast. And okay, Simicast got 1 point more than Porro, but I saved myself the transfer. So for as bad as it is, it could have been worse. But yeah, 21 points for you.
Yeah, I mean, on your team, that is that the lowest ever score you've had? That's got to be.
Yeah, without a doubt, it'd be definitely the worst 3 scores I've ever had in my 12-year career as an FPL manager.
You've got no return, have you? Like the closest you've come is what? Gibbs White. You had a clean sheet.
Gibbs White clean sheet.
Yeah,
that's it. That is it.
what a
All I can
shocker
say.
considering you fielded a whole 11 as well, and there's not been any
Yeah,
red cards or anything like weird that's happened for you there or own goals. Wow,
that's
that
it.
is a shocker.
I was thinking, at least I've got Porro and not Romero or Udogie, because that would have then been a
Yeah,
-4. So at least I got away with that.
yeah. No, hard luck, mate.
But
I mean,
yeah, so
it was a
this,
good week to have a bad. It was a good week, I think, to have a bad game week because I think a lot of players kind of were pretty poor. I mean, something that kind of like stands out to me, and I haven't done any of the analytics or like backtracking to look at this, but if you did well this week, it's likely that you got Bruno Fernandes. It's likely
yeah,
that you might have Mbumo, who got like I think another assist, another attacking return. I don't know how successful our wild cards have been. Right, actually, I think it's starting to. It was looking really promising to
yeah,
begin with. Mainly that was driven by getting Salah in, but I reckon the pre-wildcard teams, at least for me, might be kind of quite close to kind of my post-wildcard kind of teams, to be honest. So yeah, tough one. But I finished on 21 points, so I beat you by 3 points. So I'm narrowing the gap to you, which I think that's my more realistic target this year. Top 10k is looking lots of time, but it's looking
should be the other way.
pretty far away. So closing the gap to you is a good thing. So yeah, I'm 21 points. I'm down from 2.3 million overall rank down to 2.9 million, which is it's just really tough, really tough. So my move last game week was Pau Torres from Villa to Simicast, and I just got the timing wrong with Simicast. So I've been doing a lot of defender moves, and none of them have been really pulling off. So I brought in Gabriel the week before last, and he was benched. And this week I brought in Simicast for Torres, and Simicast was benched. And by all accounts, tonight's Thursday night. Toulouse are playing Liverpool tonight. Simicast was benched. Kind of at half time. So apparently for
Yeah.
such a bad performance, I think at least one of the goals was directly his mistake. And I feel really
Absolutely.
stupid because I got brought in by the hype and the couple of clean sheets in a row with him starting. But I kind of said Simicast could be it. We were saying he could be a trap with Gomez. He could play there.
Yeah.
And that's happened. So I feel really stupid. But at least it was when I had like 2 free transfers, right? So it's not kind of cost me in that sense. But I feel a bit dumb bringing him in for sure. I played Taylor over Gabriel, so I've lost a point there, essentially. But kind of like the rest of the team was all pretty dead. Gordon getting his goal and 7 points was the highlight. But even then, it's not a good result. Do you know what I mean? Because sometimes you have a midfielder scores a goal and they come away with haul. Like Bruno
Yeah.
Fernandes scored a goal. Right, he comes away with 11 points.
11 points.
Gordon does that. He scores the
Mhm.
only goal in a game, and he comes around with 7. So like even the nice things, they're tempered with some pain. And yeah, that game was
Yeah.
really annoying because I was looking at FPL at this time. So that was a game like kind of when was that? I was in the middle of the game week, I think, or on the Saturday, right? And like Trippier came away with 9 points, right? So he came away with clean sheet and then the 3 bonus. And it's like, how the hell have you got that? Like Gordon comes away with that. I
Yeah.
know Gordon got yellow carded, but it was like, wow, Trippier is really a kind of a bonus point kind of magnet. So yeah, even that Gordon goal, I was kind of losing points on a net basis from Newcastle. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I think we can move on. Like, isn't not a great not a great
Yeah.
game week. Let's move
Well,
on now.
just to finish this part. So the benefit you've got with Simicast, so he did get taken off at half time, and the first goal was 100% his fault. But Gomez played 90 minutes. Now Simicast played 90 minutes last week in Europe and then got benched. So I think the chances are Simicast will probably start against Brentford at the weekend because
Okay.
Gomez has played the full 90. I don't think he'll bring Chambers in, so that you might so what I'm saying there is don't feel too bad on it. I think he'll play. And then just to give the overall points, because it's not 302.79, I'm on 626, you're on 614. So it's down to 12. Down to 12 points. But
No.
if your aim this season is to beat me, that's a drastic drop in your in your targets as a player that's never finished in the top 40,000, and I don't think you've ever finished outside 22,000. So so
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
you'll you'll beat me. There's no question about
it's
it.
it's a really weird season, right? So yeah, that 22,000 one was the first season. Well, I didn't really know what I was doing. I thought you had to pick a left back and a right back. I thought you had to go 4-4-2. Right. So that's like half a season of playing kind of correctly. So yeah, it's been a weird season. So I think yeah, trying to avoid my worst finish is probably kind of a more decent aim for me this year. But it does look like it's slipping away. But no, on that point, I should probably run
Plenty
the
of games.
stats for you as well. But there's a tool out there, probably a lot of people know, FPL Review, which looks at predicted stats, and it's kind of an algorithm based thing that can help you validate some of your thinking. They've got a really interesting tool called Season Review, right? So Season Review essentially kind of like shows you your actual real rank. It's not showing it yet because I think the tool is where it's running a light version, but normally it would show where your stats would be based on expected goals, kind of like the performance on expected
Mhm.
goals and expected goals conceded and individual players and all that kind of good stuff. It also shows your rank based on their model, so their predicted model and the minutes that those players kind of play against it. It says where you would be linked, kind of like ranked if their model was 100% kind of correct, and then there's a luck kind of method to say, okay, what's the difference between where their model predicted you would be versus your actual score, right? So it's been a nice sense check for me there because I think I'm in the 97th percentile in terms of being unlucky, right? So I think it's saying that I'm
Wow.
tracking. I've I've lost 50 points from for kind of luck according to that. So it's an interesting sense check. But I'll have a quick look at look. I'll try and get yours up to see where yours will be like
Yeah,
during
I'm
the
just
episode. But I'm using that as a bit of a reassurance, you know.
you got like a hidden way in. I'm on the website, but it basically says it's in development.
Yeah, you got. I
And you
think
might have a
you
little
got to be a you got to be a member for it. You got to be a kind of have a Patreon account. I
okay.
think connected to it. So
Yeah.
like
Those
yeah, I'll give them a
cheapskates don't
plug.
get it
Like
for now. Yeah. Appreciate it. Sure, they appreciate it, but
something.
yeah, if you can find mine, great. But we'll move on from looking at our terrible scores to learning points. Now, some of this is a little bit out of date. We've had some up to date information to put this slide together, but the big thing that I think
Mhm,
was hitting everybody, not just injuries in the end, but also red cards. So basically, a lot of suspensions. So Matty Cash got
mhm.
injured. He's in the squad today though, so he should be okay for the weekend, which is good. Haaland the same. He went off at half time. Both of our captains 1 point off a half time in a 6 goals for City game. Zero attacker returns. The only good news for us there was Alvarez also didn't get an attacker return,
Yeah.
which obviously would have hurt us even more. But yeah, Haaland is okay. Played on Tuesday, so that's okay. Dan Burn, we know now, is out until January, and then we're still waiting on Maddison, and we're still waiting a little bit on Saka. So yeah, there's a lot of injuries. You've obviously got Maddison, you've got Burn, you had Cash. Is it panicking you?
Uh, no, I mean the only one where someone's generally out right is Burn. So
Yeah.
um, you can't really predict for those things. I think yeah, it probably looked quite scary for all the red and yellow flags, right? But I think it's kind of working itself out, right? I think most people's team now, when you look at them, they'll be okay. They'll be okay.
Yeah,
I think. Uh, so
yeah.
yeah,
I'm
I'm not
hoping.
panicking. I'm not panicking.
No, I'm waiting on Saka. I suppose I'm waiting on Saka. You're waiting on Maddison, and then one of us might panic depending on the presses tomorrow. But yeah, captain
Yeah,
blanks
I
we touched
mean,
on our captain Haaland. Yeah, go on.
no, no. I was going to say, I think, yeah, for me with Madison, I think he'd be on the chopping block anyway, just based on fixtures and different options anyway. So him being
Yeah,
injured would probably be nice because then that just means it's a lower risk move for me if I do get rid of him.
yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah. There is that, isn't there? And I'll come on to that because I am absolutely, and we've talked about this, but I won't spoil it for the listeners. I'm absolutely adamant I want to get one certain player in this week, and a Saka injury will make it a very easy decision for me. But yeah, captain blanks. We both had Haaland, went off at halftime, 1 point. Luckily, again for us, the other captain options were Watkins, did nothing, 2 points.
Mhm.
Salah did nothing, 2 points. Son scored, but it was obviously given offside, so that was again another blank. So pretty much everybody's captain did nothing. There was
Yeah.
one person whose team's called Captain Doku, who played the triple captain on him. So he
Yeah.
got 66 points off one player. Fair play. Um, but yeah, there wasn't many. There wasn't many captain options. And then I saw a couple of teams that had Romero or Udogie as captain. I'm like, why would you? I don't understand why you captain a defender. There you go. But we got away with that. But you've already touched on point three about Trippier and about how he's just a bonus point magnet. So the last 7 game weeks for Newcastle, he has got 15 bonus points in 7 game weeks. 3 times he's got 3 points, and
Wow.
3 times he's got 2 points. The one time he didn't was when it was
Wow.
2-2 with Wolves, and obviously Wilson got 2 goals. He didn't get any assists, but he has got 15 bonus points in the last 7 game weeks. That is crazy.
Yeah. Again, when I was going back to wild card regrets when we both wild carded. Was in game week 8? Yeah. Was it 9? Game week
Yeah,
8. The Yeah. Well, I had Trippier. I think you had Trippier as well, right? So he's done well since then, right? So yeah, any if they get a clean sheet, even when they don't, yeah, he's a great option. He's a great option, unfortunately.
yeah.
So it's a tough when his
Just
ownership is so high, right?
50%, pretty much. So
Yeah,
it's
rightly
it's it's
so.
hard, and when your defensive option of Dan Burn then goes and gets himself injured, it's you're
Mm.
not even covering the defensive points. Um, but yeah, we'll come on to that because I imagine we'll talk about. Obviously, you've got Dan Burn, I've got Dan Burn, so we'll be discussing the defense options shortly. One person that I did want to touch on because I've seen a lot in the community about him being an absolute waste of space, and that is your third striker, Mr. Darwin Nunes. Looking good or wasteful? That's my question to you. I've
Yeah,
got
he's
some
looking
stats
good,
for
isn't
you,
he?
by the way.
No, he's looking good. He's looking
Yeah,
good. I mean, everyone's jumping on the chance that he missed. I think that's a tough chance, actually. Like the speed the ball came to him and like volleying it. That I think that's pretty tough. But he hit the woodwork, didn't he? I think it was the crossbar, right? So, um, hey, you want players to get into chances, right? You want people to accumulate lots of goal scoring like opportunities. So yeah, it's better him doing that than being anonymous, right? So you want him to be involved, and if he's missing some kind of like chances, then he's missing some chances. Like you'd rather that than not get the chances at all. And I think I'm looking at the official FPL kind of site stats, but I believe his like expected goals was still less than 1, right? So it's not like so I've got
ew.
expected
You
goal involvement of 0.91, but
you you clearly didn't see the other chance he missed. So
oh yeah,
there was two. There was
all
two.
right,
That was one, and that was the harder one. That was the much harder chance
yeah,
out of the two where he hit the bar. There was then one in the second half where Salah's headed it across goal. He's about 4 yards out. The
oh
keeper's
yeah.
at the side.
I think that's it.
Smash.
Honestly, I know I like him, but I reckon that was the speed the ball was coming in on the volley. I reckon that's tougher
He should
than
be putting that in the back of the net. Um, well, Fix, I've got some stats for you to back you up. I
yeah,
agree with you, by the way. If I've got Nunes, there's not a chance I'm selling him. He didn't play today. He came off the bench,
yeah,
so he's pretty much guaranteed to start at the weekend.
yeah.
Against Luton, so this is according to Fantasy Football Fix's stats. So against Luton, 9 shots, 3 on target, expected goals of 1.33, expected FPL points of 7.35. And yeah, okay, he didn't score and he got 2 points. But for the season, he's got expected goals of 5.95 and he scored 4. So that's
Hmm.
1.05 goals per 90 minutes played. He's got expected assists of 1.67 or 0.3 per 90. He's actually got 5. But long and short of it, his expected FPL points is 47.8 and he's on 49. So he's on his stats. And his stats of 1.05 goals per 90 is one of the best in the division.
Yeah, and on average, he's not underperformed them massively, right? His actual goals scored and his goals involvement, it's kind of on par with where you would expect him to be.
Exactly.
So there may be a chance that he misses, but a lot of them he's putting them away in line with what's expected. So I think it's good. Yeah, you want someone who's going to accumulate lots of chances. By the way, mate, I was moving away from Nunes. So yeah, I'm happy with Nunes, and I think he's looking more and more central to Liverpool and more likely to kind of play most games, right? Which was the bet. I've got your profile on review, so you're looking really good. Your profile's better. You're doing better from a data point of view than me. So your expected your massive data rank is just under 20,000. That's where the data would expect you to be based on your team.
Wow.
Your actual rank is obviously 2.2 million. Your variance, so how unlucky you've been, you've got minus 45.8. So yeah, you're 46 points lower than where you would be if luck was fair.
46 points.
And yeah,
46 points. So I'd have been in. Well,
and then you're
sorry,
in
mate. I think the sound went a bit off there.
Oh, sorry, mate. And I was going to say that the kind of
You're
final
back. No,
interrupt.
not yours. We're back. Go on. Crack on. 46 points on 46 points out.
Yeah, and then you're within the top the 6% the 6% most unlucky managers this year so far.
Jesus.
So yeah, so you're playing well. You're playing well based on that.
Doesn't feel it. Doesn't feel it. It's all Jackson. It's all bloody Jackson and bloody Ben Chilwell.
Yeah, true.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Those bloody, bloody. So I'd have been in. So according to what it should have been, I'd be in the top 20,000. You know that. It is
Well,
nice to
according to
hear
their
that you're
model,
playing well. Yeah.
How much? Like obviously, it's a model, right? So I think the more interesting one is the expected goals when it comes out, because then that's based on what's happened in reality. But yeah, if the model was 100% correct, you'd be up there doing amazing. So yeah, that's kind of reassuring stuff, I guess. So
well, I'm glad you've said that, because it'll probably come. You'll see later on. We spoke about my random things that I do in a game week. And I've got one this week that I'm desperate to do, but you'll see it. You'll see it in a little while. I'm going to start with the fixture ticker of defence. Not putting them both together this game week. Reason being, I want to have a little focus on the defence. Obviously, I thought Matty Cash might be out. Found out tonight he isn't, luckily. But Dan Burns out for us both. We've both got Taylor on our bench, who, let's be honest, we don't really want to play Taylor in any given game week. So we're limited with our defence. So I'm assuming we're both considering some defence transfers this game week, whether that be to ship Burn out, who's now out for the next 2 months. So I thought it was worth having a look at the defence fixture, see who's got the nice fixtures, and then look at both form and predicted points from the defence point of view. But I did see, so Brighton are top, and a Stupiñán's back in the squad today. Did you see what happened?
he got injured, didn't he? Yeah.
He got injured on in the 66th minute, off in the 77th, and so don't bring him in. He's gone. So, but would you look at Brighton? Would you look at like Veltman? I think Dunk's injured as well, unfortunately. But would you look at like Veltman or somebody?
I mean, I
Or is
looked
there
at
somebody else on this?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, I looked at the Brighton defense, and yeah, other than a Stupiñán, and then to a lesser extent Dunk, like head and shoulders better because of their attacking threat, but also their nailedness. There's a bit of rotation though, really, isn't it? It's like, will Veltman play? Will Gross play at the back? Will Webster play? Will it be someone else? So it's a bit. They're good price points, aren't they? They're good price points, but like they're not a great defense either, right? So I think they're an okay defense, right? They're not as terrible as being made out, but they're not a great defense as well. So I won't go into any fixture being confident that Brighton are going to keep a clean sheet. I mean, looking at this ticker, Palace, Arsenal, Newcastle, they stand out as better defenses.
Yeah.
with comparably good fixtures. I mean, the Brighton one is so high on the ticket because it's got the Sheffield United at home and then the Burnley at home. Right, there's some average games there. Palace got a nice little run. Arsenal have a nice little run. Newcastle. I don't know if I believe those games are that easy from a
I know.
defensive point
Let's
of
see.
view, but
Thinking that
yeah,
those that Chelsea, Man United, and Tottenham are like quite difficult games. I thought.
yeah, I agree, but yeah, West Ham's interesting. I'd love to get a keeper clean sheet. I haven't had one all season, so
Honestly,
it'd be nice. There's got to be one coming up, right? Forest, Burnley, Palace, Spurs, Fulham. That's an okay run. There's got to be. Watch Areola will get drops now, won't he? Like they'll go on a
yeah.
run of clean sheets, but that would be nice. So yeah, I
Well, I
mean,
hope not. If he gets dropped, I'm snookered because Turner's been dropped. So I've all of a sudden only got one goalkeeper.
yeah, Flecken came off, I think, on the weekend, didn't he? I don't know. Did he start or and then come off, or did he not start
Let
at
me
all?
check. I think that he was on it. I saw his amber. He had an amber flag.
Yeah,
So
because
I'll check what
Strykovska
happened
had
to him.
played for 45 minutes. Yeah, so I mean,
All right, but he's still on the amber Flecken.
hmm.
So dead leg apparently, according to the app. So it's
Yeah,
so at least you've got potentially to keep playing keepers, whereas I don't have it. So if West Ham drop Areola, I am absolutely snookered. I'm
yeah,
just going to check who's playing in Europe. Whilst you describe which other players you might be looking at.
yeah. I mean, for me, looking at defenders, I think Arsenal for me stand out as the top one in terms of defense that are really, really solid. Team expected goals conceded is kind of one of the lowest in the league, and there's a nice run. Burnley, Brentford away, Wolves at home, Luton away, Villa away. That's a decent run. Then Palace and Newcastle to a kind of a lesser extent. Yeah, it's so interesting. No, Manchester United, that's a nice, very nice run. That there's
Yeah,
two tough games. Well, there's Everton, Newcastle, Chelsea's a bit tougher, but there's just no trust there, right? So I think Brighton, if Estupiñán was playing, I think everyone would be looking at him. I would potentially
yeah,
be considering cash to him, right? Or if I did a Maddison downgrade, I've been considering him, but yeah, I'm not with Dunk being uncertain and like Estupiñán being injured again. I just don't know who would be the pick of the options. So yeah, I'd go down this ticker and look at Arsenal as the one I'd be targeting.
yeah. But we'll come on to it in a bit, I suppose. But you've got Gabriel. Is the
Yeah,
double up a shout?
yeah, I think so. I'm very comfortable doubling up on defenses when I think there's good runs and good value players. So yeah, I think Gabriel still is. Let's assume that he was dropped because not dropped, but he was rested because of lots of minutes in the international break. Let's assume that was the case, and he's going to play minutes kind of moving forward. I think yeah, he'll be the best bet because of the price point, and then it's whether you go Saliba or White. I think Zinchenko. I think there's too much of minutes uncertainty with Zinchenko. Saliba doesn't do anything other than get clean sheet points, right? I mean, he got the assist in game week 1 or game week 2, which was just like passing to I think it was Saka, right? Who scored like a worldie, but he don't really do much, does he? He's like Saliba outside of just getting the clean sheet points. So White could be the pick of the options, but he's very expensive. I think he's 5.6,
Yeah.
5.7.
So he's gone right up in value.
Yeah, I don't think it's
So
worth. I don't think it's worth that. I don't think I wouldn't want to be paying close to 6 mil. So maybe it's Saliba with Gabriel. I don't know.
I've got some bad news for me. Starting West Ham goalkeeper today was Fabianski. And looking at the rest of their squad, they're playing pretty much a first team squad. So Bowen's on the pitch. You've got Kudus on the pitch, who seems to be a starter now. Ben Rama, who probably does not so much, but James Ward-Prowse, Kufal, Aguerd, Emerson. So they seem to be playing a relatively strong side.
But saying that, I'm sure if you went back on West Ham's previous kind of European games,
It's
Fabianski would
exactly
have
what I'm
played.
looking at. That's
Um,
exactly what I'm just about to try and
Come on,
pull the data.
get in the zone, man.
There
Get
we
in the
go.
zone. This will be all about the viewers and listeners, not.
Sorry, I knew already. No, Areola played the last one.
Oh, damn.
Areola played the last European game for West Ham, so
Hmm.
I might all of a sudden need to make a goalkeeper transfer.
I won't worry. Like, what are you losing? Like, Ariola's given us 1 or 2 points most game weeks, right? So
Yeah,
you can
true
live
that.
without a goalkeeper for a game week or two. Like people do obsess getting 11 players out there too much. Getting the right players out there is more important, right?
Okay. Well, I suppose on that then. So defense wise, I put replacing Burn and Cash. Cash is fine, so I don't need to replace him. But Burn, absolutely do. So this is the form I've kind of done it from game week 7 onwards, just to put it. If people were playing well in game week 1 to 5, that's way in the past now. So this is sort of the last 5 game weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, Trippier is head and shoulders, but so is he from the cost point of view. He's also got Dan Burn injured. He's got Botman
Mm-hmm.
injured. So all of a sudden, the Newcastle defense is lacking in numbers. It's only really him and Shah, so that could impact him. I don't know
Yeah.
too much. But Mikolenko's on there, which was interesting. Now, the downside for Mikolenko is Everton are on this fixture list, but their easier fixtures, if you like, Crystal Palace and Forest, are both away from home.
Mm.
And then at home, they've got United, Newcastle, and Chelsea a bit more difficult. So, yeah, I'm not
Yeah.
expecting any clean sheets.
Well, if you wanted the target, I mean, I know Lenko's got an attacking threat, but if you wanted to get into Everton defense, you might go Branthwaite because he's
Yeah.
4.0, right? So you'd look at him as a cash cow if you were just going to play them in the best fixtures they got. Although saying that, Michaelenko is 4.3, so there's not a huge amount of difference there. But sometimes you do want to squeeze your budget. Yeah, it's obviously Trippier's by far the best. We spoke about White just then, which is kind of good. So that kind of validates that kind of point. He does have the most attacking threat of an Arsenal defender. Yeah, I mean, looking at this, I mean, it's interesting. Yeah, Pau Torres is right at the bottom there, and I've got got rid of him now. I think I did get his 10-pointer when he got his goal, so I think that's
Yeah.
pretty influencing that
Off the bench.
a little bit. But yeah, I wish stupid move getting him. I don't think you can read too much into this table. So it's a table of
Yeah.
kind of like expected
Of the past.
FPL points game week 7 to now, because I think it's so influenced by fixtures that they've had retrospectively. So that's why there's a few Newcastle defenders in here, right? Because they've had that nice run.
And so yeah, and same with obviously Romero's there, but their fixtures are going to get much more difficult. But with Romero out, Udogie
Well,
out,
yeah,
both with red cards.
Spurs is great. Is great. Sorry, Matt. I think there's a bit of a lag there. So sorry talking
Yeah,
over you,
go on.
but I think that's
Yeah, it's all right.
a great example. Is that the Spurs defense? I don't think is great. Romero's there because he's had a bit of goal threat, but it's also because Spurs just had a very easy fixture run. Right, that's why some people have been tripled
Yeah.
up on them. So I think the forward fixture looking plan is very important for the defenders, less so
So
the retrospective
good
form and
point.
expected points. Yeah.
And that is why we now have this, which is the predicted points. And this is over the next 5 game weeks. So this is the predicted points from Fix. Um,
Yeah.
and you know what? As a Liverpool fan, it's nice to see Trent sitting on top. But I've made a caveat on the right hand side. I think Trent's data is still from like 2 seasons ago when he was probably the best right back in the league. I'm not convinced by Liverpool's defence or Trent this season at all. But yeah, even Trippier's still on there. Ben White's on there. Yeah, what do you think? And Palace have 2 on the list, which is interesting, and the 4th on the fixture ticker.
Yeah. But yeah, I think yeah, I spoke about Arsenal defenders, right? So this kind of validates it here. White is right up there, which is cool. And then you got Saliba and Gabriel, so it kind of backs that kind of view that kind of Arsenal defense are looking pretty good. You mentioned Palace were another team potentially to target, right? So I don't think Anderson's worth the money extra. I think he's obviously got some kind of returns mainly through corners, but I don't know whether that's sustainable, right? I kind of no reason of my gut feeling I'm saying that, but Gay and Mitchell, I would kind of prefer over Anderson, to be honest. I think we spoke about Gay like last week or the week before last, right? So
Yeah.
shame we kind of missed out on him. So yeah, I think here I'm looking at Palace and Arsenal stand out, other than the exceptional defenders like Trent and Trippier, but like price points are obviously restrictive. Shaw's still there, so like it just shows Newcastle, even though they've got mixed fixtures, they're a very good defense, right? So will I be looking for Shaw myself? No, but like depending on your view of how long Botman is out, you could go Lascelles, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
It's,
I broadly agree with this is listed out. To be honest, yeah.
But then going back to your point, so fixtures there, looking at the form, but looking ahead, and the 90 minutes, it's is the thing that's important to you, guaranteed minutes. So
But
I made a note as well. 3 Arsenal are on that list. Worth a defensive double up, or you kind of answered that. You do think it is, so that's something to consider.
I think they're the best defense for the upcoming 5 or so game weeks for sure. So I think if I was looking to bring in a defender, I'll be looking in to potentially do that Arsenal double up. Yeah.
Okay. Well, we'll come on to it because it is something I am considering. I'm starting to panic about the goalkeeper situation already because I didn't realise that could be a problem until about 30 seconds ago. But attacking options. So I've got Saka on a flag. We did have Haaland on a flag, but he's okay. You've got Maddison on a flag. So it's always worth having a look at the attacking options as well. Brighton, once again, top of this one as well from an attacking point of view. Palace up there as well.
Yeah.
I mean, unless people want to play Archer, Sheffield United are in third place. No City, no Liverpool, no Newcastle. So the big clubs near the top. No Spurs. So out of the top 4, top 5, only Arsenal are in there. So who do you like the look of?
Yeah. So I think like Brighton and Palace, like Eze's back on the table now, which is good. I think he got an assist as well, like straight away, kind of subbed on and got an assist because the strength there is he will play 90 minutes every single game. He's their best player. He's on every single set piece, right? So he's a bit of a Mbumo type player, right? For kind of Palace. So I've shown my love for him earlier this year. Now he's back.
Yeah.
What this doesn't show is that like game week 17, 18, I think he's got City or almost immediately after, like in game week 17 as well. So decent run and then some tougher fixtures. But Eze's an option and he's a really good price, isn't it? And as an enabler, which is awesome. Brighton, Mitoma's the option, I think. Adingra, if you're reading these, squeeze it, but like Mitoma's the kind of like option there, I think. Like a super run. For Arsenal, Odegaard he's been, why has he not played the last 2 game weeks?
He's got a slight injury.
Fair enough.
Fair enough. Yeah.
I think he's been really poor this season anyway from an FPL point of view. He's relied on those penalties. So I think Saka is the kind of main option. Martinelli would be really interesting. He's not showing enough from a underlying stats point of view for me to go there for that price. So it'd probably be a kind of Saka thing. Saka's an interesting option. It'll be quite nice to go for him. Burnley Wolves, I think, are a bit of a Wolves. Hwang is a nice enabler, but like Neto was the man really there. United, if you got Bruno Fernandes, you're not selling him, are you? Really, with Luton and then some okay fixtures in the wider 5 game weeks. So like you don't buy him, but you don't sell him either. Brentford is interesting because like Liverpool and Arsenal, 2 super tough kind of game weeks, but they're still in the top half of like the attacking kind of game weeks. So Mbumo, well, no, he's we said at the beginning of the season, right? Probably the best asset in the game. I felt really foolish moving him on from wildcard. And the reason why I did it, right, is, do you know when you're tinkering with your team on wildcard and you could just put it down on paper or something like that, or just like put it up on another screen. But like I just needed to see it, like what my team would look like. So I was tinkering, so I got rid of him just to tinker, and then it was like, oh, I've lost some money there. Really amateur kind of mistake. I've lost some money because I bought him at 6.5 and I sold him now at whatever 6.9. So if I was to buy him back, it was like me losing 0.2. So I was like, oh, I'm not going back to him. But yeah, obviously regrets there. So and Bumo, even with those, and they're a counter-attacking team, right? Liverpool, Arsenal, those kind of lines will kind of work through Bumo. So he kind of stands out. So yeah, looking at this, you've got Mitoma, Eze, Saka, and Bumo, I think, and Bruno Fernandes. Yeah. But like, I wouldn't be buying him necessarily. Those are the attackers that I'm looking there, and it's like, yeah, they're sound.
Out of interest, so sticking with Arsenal. So there's two things I'm going to bring up here. So Arsenal, I know Nketiah didn't play in Europe because he's got a slight knock. But if you hear from Arteta that Nketiah is fit, would you consider bringing him in on the news that apparently Jesus might be fit for Brazil?
No.
Wouldn't touch him.
No, Nketiah, I think he's just a bad player. But like you said, there's an international break now, and Jesus, he's potentially coming back, right? So you don't want to get a player for just one game week. And I'm not being funny. Like I've probably got the best 3 strikes in the game at the moment: Watkins, Haaland, and Nunes. You've got Solanke rather than Nunes, right? Solanke is, again, he's a 90-minute man on pens. There's a lot of power in that.
Yeah.
Right?
He won't be around for long.
Okay. But yeah, Nketiah, I probably won't go there for the reason you mentioned, that Jesus is kind of looming, and if he's got a risk of a knock, Trossard or Havertz could play there and do fine as well.
Yeah. And it's an interesting one with Nketiah because he has played a lot of minutes this season, but at the beginning of the season, Jesus was out, so he played because of him. Then Martinelli got injured, so he played because of him. There hasn't really been a stage where Jesus and Martinelli have both been fit, and it'd be interesting to see when they both are, as long as Saka's fit as well. Does Nketiah even see the pitch? So yeah, keep my eye out for that.
Well, he'll come on. He'll come on for like 10 minutes, probably, right, based on game state. But yeah, he won't be. He's not a starter at all, is he?
No, you wouldn't. Not if everybody's fit, you wouldn't think. But then tell you. So the second thing I then want to bring up is crazily. So Wolves, what position are Wolves on this ticker? 1, 2, 3, 6th, right?
Yeah.
And they've got Tottenham, Arsenal. They're away. I mean, they're not that. I'm not trying to say they're the hardest, but they've got Tottenham and Arsenal in there. They're away at Fulham. West Ham aren't in the top 10, right? Let me just read West Ham's next 5 fixtures to you. Forest at home. They've then got Burnley, Crystal Palace at home, Tottenham away, Fulham. Like, I mean, that screams great fixture run. And I'm like, the player I've mentioned, there's a player I'm desperate to get hold of this week. It is 100% Bowen, but they're not on the fixture list. I mean, is there something?
It's based on attack. It's like, yeah, you don't have to take it too literally. You know what I mean? It's just, these things are always about like challenging your thinking, and then you can just like use the info how you want, right? So you've got to be the judge of what's an easy fixture. But like you can kind of see here, home games are heavily weighted versus away games, right? And then also, because it's looking from purely an attacking perspective, right? There's teams like Palace, right? That's viewed as a tough fixture, right? Because it's quite a kind of a sturdy defense. Whereas, I don't know, like, other teams, hey, they're kind of like, they're just a more open. Spurs would be an example. Like, on this ticker here, Wolves game in game week 12 is Spurs at home, right? That's viewed as, on this one, as a pretty decent game from an attacking point of view. But you can kind of see it, right? Wolves are playing at home. Spurs have been quite open generally. Now, I'm not basing that in stats, but like it's just my opinion for the time being. But I think it would be linked to the stats. They've also lost half their defence.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
and then obviously the next game that Wolves have got, which is like red on this, so a tough game, is Fulham away. So you can see the away game sort of coming kind of
Yeah,
into kind of fruition there, but also yeah, maybe Fulham's like kind of like home form is just like from a defensive point of view is really kind of pretty good. Um,
yeah,
but yeah, I agree on the face of it. Like the kind of fixtures for West Ham do look good.
yeah, yeah. I'll keep yeah, we'll go on to Bowen. But
I mean,
so
all
this
you
is
have
the
to do,
form.
all you have to do though, I'm just like I'm
Yeah,
I'm looking at it myself now and fixed their kind of ticker. So you're looking at the window game week 12 to game week 16, yeah.
yeah, correct.
West Ham are just underneath it. But then if you change the horizon, this is how sensitive it is. I changed the horizon from game week 12 to game week 17, so add one more game week to it. Guess who's third on the
Yeah,
ticker? West Ham.
West Ham.
Yeah, so really, really, it's the time period you want the player as well. I've added to game week
Yeah, yeah,
18 their third. If I cannot expand it to game week 19, their they don't go down to about ninth, right? So it's sensitive on your horizon
yeah,
of your game weeks, right? So I think
yeah, yeah,
it's all these little nuances that you want to apply. So it's like not about taking it too literally because like these are heavily
yeah, yeah,
influenced. If you have Sheffield United and Burnley in a run in that window, you're going to be near the top of the ticket, right? So there's
yeah.
such great fixtures. But I think
Yeah, I've got you. I've
West
got
Ham
you.
attackers is a good shout. I think, despite what this is saying.
Yeah. Well, we'll come on because this is the form piece, and again, it's game week 7 because it's the last 5, and we won't
Mhm.
touch on it too much because we'll look at the predicted. Because to your point before, this is all previous fixtures, previous data. It's also good, better to look forward. But the Palmer, crazy second. Now I know he's had a few penalties, which might be why he's up there recently. Got another penalty against Tottenham. Got
Yeah.
an assist against Tottenham as well. But he's only 5 million. But I don't think their fixtures are great.
No.
He Chan as well. Go on.
No, I was going to say, like, when I was doing my monologue last week, I was talking about the power penalty takers. This table really does talk about those power penalty takers. So an
Yeah,
interesting match would have been having the expected non penalty FPL points. Do you know what I mean? When you're
yeah,
excluding those ones, so and I think non-pen XG is probably a better measure just because of like this like a penalty is 0.8 XG, right? It's kind of really disproportionate, right? Salah's had a few. I think does he have 2 or 3 in that time period? Palmer the same.
yeah,
Um, Watkins and Son are just pure, right? Do you know what I mean? And the same with Huang, right? They're not on penalties. And Bumo, I don't think he's had a penalty actually in that time period. Haaland
he's had
has.
one. I think he's had one. Haaland
Uh,
has.
Douglas Luiz
Don't think
has as well.
Bowen
So
has. Yeah, and
no, but
Fernandez.
Douglas Luiz has. So like yeah,
See?
a lot of this is really influenced by penalty takers, but pick penalty takers. It's a really
Yeah,
good tactic. But Palmer's a really great enabler. But I think his time comes in like game week 15-ish onwards rather than now because of the tough fixtures that Chelsea have got. And you want to see. I think he'll play because he's playing really well, whether it's in the 10 or on the wing. But like obviously, Nkunku is coming back potentially. I think, but he's not. It doesn't look like he's going to get rushed back. So yeah, he's looking good. Palmer penalties is a massive bonus, and like it's a beautiful price that you can get him in. But like you can wait and wait for the fixture swing.
yeah,
Huang is he's still even with Neto out, he got his assist right. So anything that Wolves are
yeah,
doing from an attacking point of view, he's there. And like we do need to reassess Wolves really under O'Neill. Like they are attacking right. They're not the uh, the team they were a few years ago, just ultra defensive and waiting for a Raul Jimenez kind of like break. Right, they're a bit more attacking. So Huang is a good option. Watkins, Son, you'd expect them to be there, and Bumo you'd expect to be there. Haaland a lot lower down, but I think there was that weird period where Man City was just not very good. They look
yeah,
back on it now. Um, yeah, Bowen and Fernandez good assets there. Douglas Luiz, he's all right. I mean, I think we flirted with the idea of potentially getting him as a cheap enabler because he was on penalties, right? But I think you want to see more. Like he's a proper central midfielder, really, rather than a true attacker. So yeah, it's the players you expect, and all good players, all doing pretty well. Penalties are really influencing this as well, I think.
Yeah. Well, looking at the going forward again, just the next 5 game weeks that I've touched on. Ignore Becca. For some reason, I couldn't get the the fix thing to give me for predicted points. Just give me 2 positions. Just so happened that 9 of the top 10 are attackers and forwards, midfielders, and then Alison Becker's in there for some reason. So ignore Alison Becker, but it's good as a Liverpool fan to see Becker's due some points over our next couple of fixtures. But yeah, so these are the predicted. So again, probably people that you'll expect to see: Salah, Son, Saka, Haaland, and Mbumo's on there. Watkins is on there. Matoma's an interesting one because he's top of the fixture, or Brighton are top of the fixture attacking ticker,
Yeah.
and he's coming in at number 5, only 6.5 million. Probably the most likely start an attacking option for Brighton. You considering them?
I think in that bracket I'd go Mbumo, right?
Yeah.
Because of the penalty and set piece threat. But yeah, he's a great option, right? He is a great option. It'd be awesome to have them both. I mean, we both have Salah and Son who are at the top of that, so great. You have Saka, it's a good move there. So I think Saka's on my watch list for sure. Haaland is there, of course. Mitoma, Odegaard, I don't really agree with for the reasons I mentioned. And Mbumo's there, Martinelli, Watkins. Yeah, I think it's a list well aligned with like where I'd think there'd be high scorers for sure. Yeah, no Bowen
Still
there
no
for you,
Bowen.
right? Yeah.
Still no Bowen, and it's like this guy. I mean, we'll go back to the form. He's number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, number 8. I think he's performing well, but yeah, he's not on the fixture ticker, so maybe that they've took that into account. But
I mean,
yeah,
with Bowen, it'd be a question of would you go Martinelli instead of Bowen? I'd probably go Bowen over Martinelli at the moment based
I'd
on
go
underlying
Bowen.
performance. Would you go
Because
Mbumo
that's the
over
question, isn't it? Yeah,
Bowen? I mean, I'd go Mbumo, I
I
think.
wouldn't. So there's
Okay.
the difference. So I suppose there's the question for you. Why would you go on Mbumo over Bowen?
Go back to the previous slide. I think he's just better expected before
Yeah.
underlying stats, right?
So recent, yeah, I think expected points
Just
is
about 3,
3.
yeah, 3, yeah, 3 over. So yeah, Bowen's perfectly fine, but then I think why a
Yeah,
little bit cheaper, but so it gives you that flexibility, like guaranteed to play all minutes, all set pieces. They're very similar players. To be fair. I think they're quite comparable to be honest.
yeah, yeah. And then if it turns out, last question for this slide, if it turns out that Maddison is injured, where are you
Hmm.
going? And more importantly, why are you going there?
Be Saka or Mbumo.
Okay.
I think because yeah, good underlying stats, good fixtures, especially in Saka's kind of case moving forward, right? So yeah, and it's just about what. So I could go for Mbumo in one move, right? So that's kind of beneficial. Saka, I'd have to make a downgrade elsewhere in my defense potentially to find the spare cash. If I went for Mbumo, it gives the flexibility that I could upgrade in my defense. I could bring in a Ben White, for example, right? So I've got to do these kind of
Yeah.
trade-offs of like what are the duos I can bring in. But I think yeah, those would be on my watch list for a midfielder as a Maddison replacement. The benefit of Mbumo over Saka as well is that there's a blank game week coming up, of course, in game week 18, right? So
18.
Brentford and
Yeah.
Man City blank. if I do get Mbumo, it does mean that I will have a bit of spare cash. I could upgrade one of my bench fodder players to kind of cover that kind of period, right? So one to consider, I guess.
Yeah. I get that. It's, sometimes nice when you've got an injured player. You're like, well, I'm looking at other options anyway, so you can kind of
Nice.
work it out.
It does help. It does just force the decision, which is sometimes good, right? And there's all these options. It's sometimes pretty tough, right? So you can just have this like inertia. It's like, oh, I can't decide. And as the injured player, it's like, yeah, cool, no regrets.
So it's like I kind of want Arteta to come out and go, oh yeah, Saka's out for the next 3 game weeks, and then I'm sorted. But
Smart
looking
idea.
at the next game week, I wish injuries to nobody. By the way, I know I'm not an Arsenal fan, but I don't wish Saka any injury. I hope he's okay. But this is then looking at captain options, and Saka's top of the ticker. So he's at home to Burnley, probably why he's top. Salah's
Yep.
at home to Brentford, and obviously Brentford have no offense to any Burnley fans, but Brentford have a better defence than Burnley do. And in all honesty, I think Arsenal probably playing slightly better than Liverpool over the last couple of games. And I know it was like a bit of touch and go with Newcastle. They didn't play very well, but then they've just beat Sevilla very comfortably 2-0. Whereas Liverpool struggled against Luton in attack. Today they've been beat by Toulouse. So I think maybe the Arsenal are in a little bit of a better form. But you obviously don't have Saka. You do have Salah. Uh, is your captain sorted? Is it Salah or are you thinking elsewhere?
But yeah, Salah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Set.
I
That
think
was a short. That was a short part.
even if I bring in Saka, I'll captain Salah. Yeah.
How come? Out of interest, why? If you've got both, would you go Salah?
Well, Saka, there's that uncertainty around minutes, right? Does he have a knock? So does he come on just as a cameo or not play at all?
Yeah.
Or if he does start, does he come off at 60 minutes? Right. Salah's underlying stats are just so much better than Saka's this season.
Yeah.
And then Saka's got this like weird thing of whether he's on penalties or not. Salah, of course, is on penalties. He's really greedy with them.
Yeah.
And we've seen the effect of penalties on one of the previous pages you were showing when you had the expected FPL points over the last couple of weeks, and like all the players that were high up were penalty takers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think potentially Watkins is missing from this list because he's at home to Fulham, who haven't got the best defense stats, but he's not the pen taker, so maybe that's why his expected points aren't as high.
Yeah, kind of interesting why he's not here. I mean, all these players, it's just the strength of their fixtures, right? And then they're better players, or like in the case of like Salah, for example, right, and Son, they're either better, and Haaland, they're better players for kind of better teams, yeah, or they're just easier fixtures, right? These are players that are playing Luton, Burnley, Sheffield United, right? So, yeah, that's why these guys are up there.
Yeah, you don't think Fulham are as well? They're not. Fulham aren't as bad as those three. In all fairness, you can see from just looking at the Premier League table, they're not that bad.
Yeah.
They're not as bad. Yeah, interesting. I might. You'll see where I'm at when we go on to it. But captain pick for you, if you've got Salah and Saka, Salah is the
Yeah.
obvious. Okay, we're back with questions for Matt. I know it's your favourite part of the episode. Not Matt versus Dave because you're beating me. We'll come on to that. But questions for Matt. Couple of them that we've got. Carrie Irving's firing in, keeps dropping in my inboxes, which is cool. So a big shout out to Kyrie. You've kind of touched on this before. He's asking, is Lascelles an option given the two injuries?
I think so, because I think Newcastle, it seems to be a system thing with Newcastle, right? So Botman is a great defender, and Botman's one hell of a player. They've kept loads of clean sheets with Botman going out, even though Lascelles has been played. Burn on the face of it, he ain't a great player, is he? Dan Burn, the third choice centre back at Brighton. who's now
6'7" left winger.
left back for a Champions League kind of team, right? So I think for Newcastle, I think it's a systems thing. I think that's and coaching it that kind of keeps them like defending kind of really well, and their defense is just very good, right? It's not like it. I think it's for a long time now the expected goals conceded have been the best, or at least in the top three best in the league for quite a while. So I think with Lascelles, depending on how long Botman's out, yeah, he's an option, right? He's 4. There's not much downside, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I think he's an option. And like if I was going down that route of trying to get Saka in, like me moving someone, Burn or Cash maybe, or even Simicast to Lascelles, that frees up money for me to get Saka for Maddison, right? So yeah, I think he's an option in lots of scenarios. Good enabler. Yeah.
Yeah. There you go, Carey. Sorted. Get him in. Spooner 22. You kind of touched on this already. I think he's in a very similar position to us as Spooner. Clearly not very good at football with a name like that. No offense, but it's I don't know. Is Spooner a Scouse word? I don't know. I don't know whether it is. Do you know what a Spooner is, Matt? It's not a bedroom thing.
I thought, yeah, I was gonna say it's special cuddled in bed, isn't it?
It's not a cuddle. Spooner in Liverpool. I'm assuming it's not just a Liverpool thing. It's if you're in front of goal and you kick a ball and it just completely goes off course, like complete. That's you're called. You've spooned it, is what it's called. So I'm assuming that's where the name's come from.
I mean,
I might be completely wrong.
well, no, yeah, you spooned it. Yeah, it's not
Spooned it.
using common
Spooner.
language, though, right? Yeah.
Yeah. That's so apologies to to the
He's
non-UK
definitely a
listeners.
He's
'Cause you'll
definitely
be
a
like, what are
bedroom
they on
spooner.
about?
He's definitely a bedroom
Yeah,
spooner, I
maybe.
think. Yeah.
I'll message him. But you've answered his question already, to be honest, because it was all about which defense options would you be targeting. So I'm assuming there's Burn in there. There's these maybe even got Romero who's been sent off. Yada yada yada. So you've kind of touched on this already. So you're basically focusing on Arsenal. You're
Yeah.
focusing on potentially Palace.
Yeah, Arsenal, Palace, Newcastle, I think.
Yeah. There you go. Nice and easy. Answered that one before I came in. Transfer questions of the week. So I'll give Carrie another little plug here, but we'll start with Ronnie Larkin. Great name. How many transfers hits is too much given the injuries crisis that many are facing? Now I know
One
Ronnie
hit.
Larkin. One hit. So one hit. So a -4 is okay.
No, it's too much.
Oh, none. None whatsoever.
There
Um,
isn't probably your friend Ronnie sent this before like the week is developed, right? There's not an injury crisis really. That's
yeah,
Burn.
yeah. Unless he's got double Tottenham defence, Udogie and
Yeah,
Romero
yeah.
and Burn.
Team dependent, but like you let's do some maths on this, right? A hit for a defender will rarely come off, right? So the defender you're bringing out will get 0 points. Yeah.
Yeah.
-4. You're -4 below that 0 points, right? So the person you have to bring in has to get a clean sheet to net you 2 points. What's the odds of a defender in any game week getting a clean sheet? The best, like if you got like a Man City against a really weak team, they might have 50%, 60% odds of getting a clean sheet. The players you're swapping Burn out for, they're not going to have over 50% odds of getting a clean sheet, right? So I think doing the maths, like doing a hit for a defender, it ain't good. Like, does that make sense? Like, because like you just got to weight it in terms of that you're 4 points behind and like 0 points is there. So to net a game, the defender has to get an assist, yeah, or or get a clean sheet. If they just play, they get to get the 2 points. You're down -2, and you.
And as you say, even if they get the clean sheet and you're up 2, the player that's probably going to play off your bench, they'll probably get 2 anyway. So even
Exactly.
with the clean sheet, you're level.
Exactly. If you have like a Taylor, he might get 1 point, right? So then you got to count into that. Like who else would come in? Obviously, hits are better, I think, when you're getting those players with that upside. You know what I mean? That kind of cheesy word. So if you're like moving on a shitty midfielder and you're bringing in Saka this week and it's part of a hit, cool. like crack on. I think
Yeah.
you've got the upside. But I think if you're looking at it on a really isolated basis, a defender, a burn for a burn replacement, I don't think it pays off. You just wait.
Yeah, get you. Absolutely, there you go, Ronnie. Do not do it. And then Irving, Kyrie, even. Don't know why I started
Yeah.
off with Irving. But he is looking at Spurs and Arsenal. We've kind of touched on both players. Now, this is an interesting question because you have got Son too, and you don't have Saka. So he's
Mm.
basically saying, look, that Romero, Van der Mickey is out, Maddison's out, who are key for Tottenham. Would it be worth selling Son for Saka? And looking at the next game 3 weeks, so Spurs are away at Wolves, are home to Villa, away at City, whereas
Mm.
Arsenal are home to Burnley, away to Brentford, at home to Wolves. So they have the better fixtures and don't have the injury or the crisis of having red cards to deal with. So do you think that's a sensible move?
Mm.
Is it something that you'd even consider?
It's an interesting one. I haven't because I got 2 free transfers, and I think there's better, more burning platforms than getting rid of Son. Right?
Yeah.
You're getting rid of Son, like and you're not forced to move him. He's not injured or banned. You're getting rid of Son voluntarily when he's doing fine. The fixtures are better for sure. I'm tempted to say no because Saka has been quite underwhelming this year from
Yeah.
a underlying stat point of view. He hasn't blown people's minds. Do you know
Just
what I
keeps
mean?
giving the
So
pens away.
yeah, yeah. If we knew he was on pens for sure, then yeah, I think it's a good move. But like, yeah, because of that and a few other factors, I don't know. I don't think it's clear cut.
Yeah.
I think you'd have to have quite a good team to think that's your most valid option.
With you. With you. So yeah, there you go. There you go, Kerry. Keeps on. That's where we're
Yeah,
looking. I think
yeah, it
Son will do
keeps.
well,
Yeah,
to be honest.
yeah. It's just mad when you're saying you're getting rid of Son and he's doing well
Yeah.
against all kind of
Yeah.
metrics. And I get what you're saying that Spurs are pretty threadbare, isn't he, in terms of their squad, but
Yeah.
it's Son.
Yeah. Yeah. Who's done it season in, well, apart from last season, season in, season out.
Mm.
Um, okay, we're going on to the part of the that I didn't really want to come on to because I started 1-0 up. As of this game week, I am now 2-1 down. And this is, of course, our differential pick, Matt versus Dave. Bit of a change this week because we need to pick players under 5%, although I think we did last week.
Yeah,
But yeah, having a look here, I went for Jota. Got the start, as I thought he would. Liverpool struggled against Luton, so no attack returns him, so for 2 points. And then I had the 50-50 between Grealish and Doku. For some reason, I was like, Grealish will get the start. Clearly, he didn't, and Doku went on to get a goal and 4 assists. So I got a nice 0 for Grealish. So I've ended up on 2 points. Uh, Feel free to take the glory.
Matt, like got to grind it, isn't it? Just a little assist in it. So I'll take that.
Yeah,
I'll take that. Were you considering
yeah.
Doku
But
though?
even
No, you were just Grealish, weren't you?
it was him or Grealish. I basically I looked at United City even. I was like, look, even their attacking options is less than 5% owned, and it was Grealish and Doku. Both of them were. I was like, well, I don't know what. I think I looked at who played in Europe,
Yeah,
and look who played in the last Premier League game, and put two and two together and got 5 because I was like, oh, Grealish is going to start based on there, and obviously that didn't happen. So yeah, did my maths wrong. So it's my own fault. So congratulations on the win. You are now 2-1 up, but it's an even game week, which means I get to pick first this week. Um,
ooh.
yeah, and I'm looking, and I am going to go for a dinger for Brighton. So he's
Hmm.
1.6% owned. He's at home to Sheffield United. He's been starting. Oh, I've just
Uh-huh.
jinxed
Uh-huh.
that, and he's going to get benched. But he has been starting. He started
Yeah,
tonight. He played a strong team in Europe. He started. He's got a goal today against Ajax.
yeah,
So I feel like he's got a bit of form about him. He's got Sheffield United at home, which is probably the easiest fixture you can have in the division.
yeah.
So yeah, I'm gonna go with a dinger as my number 1 pick.
Okay, I like it. Are we allowed to use players that we've picked before then? Because I picked them a few
Oh
weeks
yeah,
ago. Didn't
yeah,
I? Yeah.
yeah. Do you want to make that rule that we can't? Because we're going to run out of players very quickly.
Yeah, true, true. I interest. Is Pascal gross on penalties for Brighton now, or does like? Oh no, João Pedro, isn't he? João Pedro takes
Pedro, when he's
penalties.
on the pitch,
Uh,
he is. Yeah.
yeah, and then Ansu Fati might take penalties. I don't know why. I'm saying that he might take them, but he may. So I think I'll stay away
He
from.
scored today
I
as
could be.
well.
Yeah. Hmm. I
Fatty
mean,
did. Yeah, he got a goal today.
yeah, Brighton are the obvious bet, aren't they? But I'm going to be a bit more
Yeah.
interested and go for a different team. So looking at the fixtures, I think United are interested in playing Luton, right? I
Yeah.
think that they've got to, despite what everyone is saying, they will surely beat Luton at home and by quite an amount. So I'm just trying to buy myself time by just
No,
chatting over
you can
Arsenal.
have. I think I know who you're going to go for. And when I looked, he was 4.9% owned because he's one of my picks. But you get dibs, so you can have him. He scored twice in Europe. He's
We're
their
talking
main
Hoyland
starting
because he's
striker, costing
5.1%.
70 million. Has he gone up?
It's 5.1% now. So he is out.
He,
We cannot
he's
pick
out.
him.
He was
I'm,
4.9%, so he's just missed out.
I think I'll go. I kind of a defender would be a good option. I think like going Dallo would be a good option just to grind like 6 points, but that's kind of boring, isn't it? It's pretty boring if you're
One. Take
picking a
on
player.
take on Scott McTominay.
I'll go Garnacho
Garnacho.
then at
Okay.
1.2%.
Garnacho.
This is definitely Manchester United, the Man U effect, right? Like, why? How has he
Yeah.
even got over 1% ownership? I don't know, but it started 90 minutes against Fulham.
Yeah.
He's had minutes in the other ones. I'll go for Garnacho. Not much logic there. I'm already thinking that's an awful pick,
Got the
but
fixture.
yeah, we'll run it.
If
We'll
it
run it.
helps, my second pick's not very good. So
Okay.
it was now the 5.1% owned United striker. Um, but I appreciate if he was under 5% owned, you'd have picked him anyway.
Yeah.
I am taking an absolute stab in the dark of a player that has not been great, but he seems to be starting every week. He's at home to Nottingham Forest. He's 3.4% owned, and he's the starting striker for West Ham. I am taking Antonio as a nothing but a pure punt. This under 5% is difficult, but I think he's got the fixture. West Ham aren't a bad side, although they're not maybe
Yeah.
not as high up the league as I thought they were. But he seems to be starting every game. He's got 2 goals and 2 assists, I think, this season. But he seems to be starting still. So he's and a home to Forest. He might nick a goal. He's one of the, he's like a couple of weeks ago when I picked Wissa because I thought he could nick a goal and he did. That's the same. Antonio could quite easily nick a goal. So my second pick's Antonio.
I like it. I like it. I'm gonna. I'm surprised. I was looking at Arsenal. I think Arsenal will kind of do Burnley. I'm still surprised. Martinelli's 5.2%. That's quite crazy. So he's not a differential based on our new definition, but pretty close to it. But I'm going to assume Nketiah is going to be out, and I'm going to go for a player that I went for the beginning of the season. He's had 2 90 minutes kind of stints. I reckon he'll play up front. I'm going to go Kai Havertz.
I was gonna say you're bringing Havertz back.
Yep.
Was the pain too much at the beginning of the season? You're ready to be heartbroken again.
Let's go for it. I'm ready, baby.
What's his owners? What is he less than 5% of the? That's dropped.
He's 1.5%, and he is
Wow.
down to a cost of 7.1. So I think I sucked up
Wow.
most of those price drops, to be honest.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Interesting.
Havertz.
So there you go. It's a Dinger
Keep
and
going back.
Antonio against Garnacho and Havertz. Now, if we
Yeah,
if we say it properly, it's Havertz against a Dinger. The other two
yeah.
might be a bit irrelevant. So it's that's really what we're looking at: a Dinger versus Havertz. So I just need to hope Nketiah is fit and Havertz plays further back. That's what I need to hope to try and get
Yeah.
it back to 2-2.
We've
I
like
wish you the
looking at
best of
last
luck.
week. Last week. There's actually some generally good players there. Quang and Calvert-Lewin
Yeah.
and Jota and Grealish. It was a coin toss whether him or Doku would play. So those are actually good players. what we gone for this week? Rubbish, right? But
yeah, I mean, I don't want to badmouth Dinger because I don't know him that well. He just seems to own a bit of fun. But yeah, the best player there is probably Havertz, who isn't exactly mind blowing. But this is the rule: under 5%, it's hard to pick, and it's just the way the fixtures have fallen. So yeah, hopefully some of us, at least one of us, comes out with something above 4 points. That's what I'm hoping there. But yeah, we'll move on. So this is where I said at the beginning, you're going to earn the money that I don't pay you for this. So this is where it comes in because we're looking at ahead of game week 12. At the minute, I'll run through it. So if you're listening, you're not watching. Areola in goal, which is now panicking me because he's been dropped in Europe and might mean he's getting dropped in total, but he's at home to Forest if he plays great. I've then got Matty Cash. He's got an amber on the screenshot. I just took it early. He's fine, so he'll play. But I've got Cash. Pedro Porro away at Wolves, the only fit Arsenal or non-suspended at Tottenham even defender, so at least he'll guarantee to start. And then I've got Gabriel, who will hopefully see the pitch at home to Burnley. Across the midfield, Saka at home to Burnley, Salah at home to Brentford, Son away at Wolves, and then I'm starting at the minute Gibbs White away at West Ham. And up top, Watkins at home to Fulham. Haaland again, fine. That number's not worrying me. He's away at Chelsea. And then Solanke at home to Newcastle. Now I've got 2 free transfers, which is good because I didn't do one last week. The issue I feel I've got here is I've only got 11 outfield players that are actually playing. So I've only got Taylor on the bench. Burns out, Chucky's out. I feel that's my fire that I need to put out. But I've kind of teased all the way through this. I'm desperate to get Bowen in. I just think Bowen is going to do something over the next 4, 5, 6 game weeks for those fixtures, and I really want to bring him in. So I've kind of put some options down. So I could take a -4, Solanke, Morton, Gibbs, White, and Burn to Archer, Bowen, and Mitchell, or Guy. I'm not too, a Palace defender is the point I'm making. That cost me 4, but it gets me Bowen in, which I really like. I could ignore the Burn injury, keep him on my bench. Solanke and Morton, Gibbs, White to Archer and Bowen, or I could do Eze. I could get Eze in instead. And if I've gone off the Nketiah thing based on what you've just said before, by the way. So that second one's probably not where I'm going to go. Or I could roll a transfer into the. I'm just babbling now, mate. I'm waiting for you just to go. That one's shit. That one's shit. That's the one that you need to focus on. That's what I'm waiting for. So I'll stop talking because you can see it down the right hand side. So the other one was like Ben to Mitchell and Gay, roll the other transfer.
So 2 free transfers, which
When
is
you
good.
look at that team, say that again. Sorry.
I was going to say you got 2 free transfers, which is good.
Yes.
But I mean,
yeah,
you've got 11 okay starters, and Taylor is your security on the bench, right? I mean, obviously you won't expect any points from him, but it's okay. It's all good. So West Ham playing Forest, right? So that's a good fixture, but not a great fixture. I think it's fair to say. Forest are an okay unit. So Solanke and Gibbs White to Burns, to Archer, Bowen, and Mitchell. Mitchell's are going to be a non-in. Like, if you brought in Mitchell, would you start him or would you stay? Surely you'd keep Cash, Porro, and Gabriel as your back.
Yeah, I'd change formation. I'd end up on probably a 4-3-3, and I'd end up benching Gibbs White. Not 4-3-3. That's too many. No, that is right. 4-3-3. Yeah, and benching Gibbs White.
Well, in that one, you'd have Gibbs White would be out, right? So I'm guessing you'd bench Archer, right?
Oh, sorry, yeah, because I wouldn't have Solanke anymore. So yeah, it'd be a 4-4-2.
Okay, but for -4, right? So you got a -4 on that one. And the next one's ignore the Burn injury. Solanke and Morgan Gibbs White for Archer and Bowen. So on that one, you would play Bowen, obviously, and then you bring in
I'd have to
well,
just,
Archer would start.
I'd just
Archer
end
or
up
Taylor.
playing Archer.
Yeah, and he was
Yeah,
dropped. I think last was he's not
2 game
guaranteed.
weeks ago he was. Yeah.
Um, and then burn Mitchell. You know which one I'm going to say? I'm going to probably say just burn to a random player is is good. I mean, if you want to be creative, like another option, can you go burn down to Lascelles or Braithwaite or something along those lines, and then upgrade
Yeah.
Gibbs White to Matoma?
I'm 0.1 million shy of it,
Oh, that's a shame.
frustratingly. Yeah,
Um, I
0.1
mean,
million. But what I could do is downgrade Burn to Lascelles and then upgrade Gibbs White to Eze.
hmm, no, exactly. So I think there's interesting options. I mean, Gibbs White, don't get me wrong, he is perfectly fine.
I'm not
He's
having it.
gonna he he's gonna get a penalty, and then you're gonna be like, why the hell did I get
Or
rid of
or I'll tell you the reason, right? So he's without a doubt Forest's best player, right?
yeah?
Attacker wise, he's their best player. He's on set pieces, but the guy's returned. He's played 11 games this season and he's returned in one of them. And that was
What is
before I owned
what
him.
are his like underlying stats saying? Has he got any green shoots
Find
like
him.
when it comes to his like expected goal involvement? Like Gibbs White, what's he looking at? Is it,
He's absolutely
that's pretty bad.
frustrating the hell out of me.
That's pretty bad. Yeah, expected goal involvement is 0.28 per 90.
What, all season?
No, per 90. Yeah,
Yeah,
his average
90.
over the season is 0.28 per goal involvement per 90. So yeah, that's average
Yeah, he's
per 90
absolutely
minutes.
winding me up.
Um,
And I know he was my highest scorer this year, but he's doing my head in.
yeah.
Um,
Um,
yeah, I'd just rather have somebody else. So I mean, I don't hate that, by the way. I don't hate Burn to Lascelles, play Lascelles probably instead of Solanke, and then a Gibbs White upgrade to Eze at home to Everton. I don't hate that.
well, or you could just keep Gibbs White, right? And then like who knows what happens next game week? You could have a more powerful move with 2 free transfers, right? So I obviously you can't burn it. So like the transfer, so like literally you'll move burn to someone, right?
Mm.
Question would be whether that's a like for like move, or whether you downgrade him to free up money, which I think is a decent option, or whether you do a move. I wouldn't be doing a -4
Okay.
like that -4. I think is a yeah. I'm not seeing that one made, but yeah, as a and Lascelles in is kind of cool. I think Solanke and Gibbs White, so Archer and Bowen. Yeah, that's okay as well. But like you're gonna have to play Archer then.
Yeah.
I'd
Yeah.
probably
So
just do the one. I'd probably just do the one move in your position. But I know you're very keen for Bowen, so it doesn't solve that one for you.
I don't know why. He's just yeah. I don't think I'm going to be able to get to him without taking a -4. Or I ignore Burn, do the Solanke
Well,
Gibbs White move, but then as you say, I'm playing Archer.
you'll feel
Shit.
happy making those moves, right? Because I can see every week Solanke and Gibbs White they're frustrating you.
Yeah.
I feel fine with them because, like, my view would be like they're guaranteed minutes, and that's the bare minimum that you want. They'll play every game, and they're the best players for each of their teams. They're the cheesy word talisman for their teams, and they're on penalties in Solanke's case. Definitely Gibbs White. We think he's on penalties as well as lots of other set pieces. So, and their fixtures are okay. So I'd be cool with them, but I know they're frustrating you, right? So you need to do what makes
So
you feel
so
happy and relaxed.
correct, but this is the whole point. This is the whole point in this podcast is to be like, how do you, as one of the best players in the world, think differently to somebody at my level who's not to blow my own trumpet, a good player, but nowhere near like the top. This is interesting that like to see your
Yeah.
different viewpoints on it. So if I did do the one, right? Because I think a lot of people will do what I'm doing. They'll look at Gibbs White and go, he's had one attack and return. He's frustrated me. I've owned him for 4 game weeks. Solanke's got me 1 goal in 4 or 5 game weeks. It's time to sell them. Whereas your view's different because it's like, yeah, they're the best player. They've won the penalties. They're guaranteed the minutes. If I did sell Burn and I got in Guy or Mitchell, and obviously I'm going to play that player, who would you drop? Gibbs White or Solanke? Who you benching?
This one game week, I would
Yeah.
be. They're almost like absolutely equal. As crazy as it sounds, I reckon they'd be getting like the same. I'd probably bench.
Yeah, they'd be getting the same 2 points.
True. Probably Solanke, just because like I rate Newcastle a lot more than West Ham.
Yeah, I'd agree. I think that
Just.
yeah. I
Um,
concur. So yeah, Gibbs. So play Gibbs White. Give him another chance. Give him another chance. See what he can do for me.
I think they're both. I think they're both perfectly fine. I think really when you look at like strikers, yeah, I put Solanke in the top 5 or 6 striker options over the next couple of game weeks for sure.
Yeah.
I put Haaland,
Yeah.
Watkins, Nunes, Callum Wilson, maybe Alvarez above him, but
Yeah.
yeah,
Solanke's in.
that's like quite an elite list, right? I think immediately after them, I'd put in Solanke. And then when it comes to like midfielders, if I'm looking at midfielders that kind of like not the premium, let's ignore like Son and Salah. Let's look at like and Saka and those sort of guys. Let's talk about cheaper ones. Mbumo is better. Matoma is better. Eze is better.
Yeah.
Diaby.
Yeah. I'd probably go with Diaby.
Gordon.
March, but he's not fit.
Gordon maybe.
Hwang
maybe, but like yeah, I'd say Gordon, Hwang, and Gibbs White. They're all in like that bracket together. So he ain't bad as well. So I mean, you don't have to make it a problem. But yeah, Gibbs White's underlying stats are a bit aren't great, are they? They're not great.
Yeah, he's just frustrating me. That's what it is. And I just it's like when we were talking about do you sell Haaland? No, because not owning Haaland would annoy me more than him not scoring points. Because every time City play, I'll be panicking about Haaland. Whereas Gibbs White is just he's just
nothing
wrecking me
on
head.
there,
He's not enjoyable.
Yeah, fair enough. I get it.
But we'll see. We'll see. I might even. I like the double up on the Arsenal defence, so I could even do thinking out loud, and we'll move on to your team very shortly. But I might even do Burn down to Lascelles, play Lascelles over one of Gibbs White or something like that. I'll make that decision, and then I know you're going to tell me not to do this, but I'll have 0.7 in the bank. That's an Areola upgrade on a keeper. See, I don't know how much Raya is. I might not get to Raya, but I could get a nice
Raise
starting
4
goalkeeper because I don't have one.
I think
Yeah, we'll see.
West Ham have got good fixtures from a defensive point of view. Remember that, like in the tick you had. So I think that would be the best move. I mean, the Gibbs White upgrade that would be kind of accessible, but like would make a difference for you, is trying to reach to Matoma. I think.
Yeah.
That would make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
So, but it's like, how would you get to that? I mean,
It is
who's
doable.
the player you can get rid? Who can get rid of Burn
So
for like that allows?
it'd be like Baldock or somebody
Okay.
at that level. If you said 3.9 or below, basically, so it'd be a Sheffield United defender or somebody along those sort of lines.
Which like you just have to see your defender rotations like with Cash, Porro, Gabriel. Villa have some tough fixtures coming up imminently around the corner.
Yeah, that's it. So yeah, it'd be on the potential go list. But I'm just going to double check there. Yeah, 3.9 million a defender I'd need to get in.
Yeah, don't envy you.
Yeah. No. It's not nice. So yeah, you'd be looking at Baldock at 3.8, who started to play again. Yeah, it's pretty much it. It's
Yeah.
pretty much the only option. He got 90 minutes and got an assist weirdly last game. So there you go. Maybe he's on a run of assists. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see how we go. But we'll move on to your team. And
Yeah.
what are you thinking?
Yeah, so again, I've got 2 free transfers and there's like a whole host of options. So I think the team on the face of it is okay. So I've got Areola, Cash, Simicast, Gabriel, Maddison, Gordon, Son, Salah captain, Watkins, Darwin, and Haaland, and then a bench of Strakowska, Byrne, Taylor, and Chucky is my Chelsea injured bench fodder from a midfield point of view. If I was doing one transfer, it would probably be it would be Byrne to a comparably cheap defender, a Mitchell at Palace,
Mhm.
or a downgrade down to Lascelles just to free up some money. Lascelles or Braithwaite from uh, Everton.
Mhm.
So that's what I'd do if it was just one free transfer, which I could get away with, right? But yeah, if I was to use both my 2 free transfers, I think I'm quite assured on Darwin Nunez's minutes, so I'm going to keep him. Um, probably It'd probably involve in getting rid of Maddison. Like Gordon's offering good value for money, right? He is offering good value for money, really, and like moving him on to someone is kind of reaching. So Maddison, I could get rid of Maddison, as you suggested there, Maddison and Byrne. I'd get rid of them for
Mhm.
Mbumo and an Arsenal defender. I could go Saliba, or if I could go for the best one, which is White. I don't think he's necessarily value for money at that rate, but I could go there. And the other one is, yeah, if I feel confident Saka's going to play, I go Maddison and Byrne to Saka and Lascelles, and I probably play Lascelles over Simicast, I guess. So yeah, I think it's all good. So I know you've said like considerations and future planning. I think like the injuries are fine, right? So for me, it's kind of Burton really, and then only
Yeah.
one playing keeper. Again, I'm kind of quite relaxed
Oh,
with that. I think broader
do I
things
not
that
have a
I'm
playing
thinking
keeper?
about. Yeah, like, I mean, it's I've had one like you can get minus kind of for your goalkeeper as well as we've had with Pickford. So like 0 points can sometimes
True.
be viewed as a win, right? Yeah, I'm kind of cool with that. So I think broader things that I'm thinking about are navigating that blank, Man City and Brentford. If I do go Mbumo, it's like, okay, how do I make sure my bench is sufficient for that game week 18 blank that's
Mhm.
coming up? So I know that's a couple of game weeks away, but like you don't want to just like fall into a trap and get surprised around it. I'm also thinking about fixture swings for a couple of teams. So Villa, I think a team that in particular, in my opinion, they have a tough run of fixtures almost imminently, right? So I want to
Yeah.
be thinking, what's my exit route from some of them? Um, yeah, and like kind of like, yeah, I think Arsenal are a team to potentially target with their nice fixture run. So yeah, a few things on my mind. Um, yeah, I think I've got a few
Yeah.
options, and all of them will be fine. All of them
Yeah.
will be fine. I think yeah, I'll move Burn on for sure. Um,
And then yeah. It's
and then
I suppose if
and
if
then
Maddison turns out he's fine and
yes,
uh,
I mean Wolves is
Ange comes out and says he's okay.
yeah, like, I mean Wolves is fine, isn't it? As a
Yeah.
as a fixture. I mean, I think there's better fit. There's over the medium term, there's teams with a lot better fixture runs, right? So
Yeah.
Saka and Boomer, I think stand out. So the one I'm tempted to do. It sounds a bit counterintuitive, but it's in Boomer and an Arsenal defender. Gives me more flexibility with budget moving forward rather than committing all in on Saka. So
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, Boomer and probably Saliba in for Burn and then bench Simicast is kind of what I'm thinking.
Yeah, yeah. I like that. I
Uh,
like the double Arsenal defence. Um,
yeah, no, I think I'm quite
Interesting.
happy with it, and I think as a team as well, I think their defense has been relatively better performing in terms of underlying stats versus their relative attacking strength. They haven't clicked really this year, and like, I mean, it's going to be hard. But Burnley's an easy fixture, isn't it? Burnley's an easy fixture, but with Saka with a knock, Odegaard having his kind of like knock, no Jesus, I think some of that fluidity I think will be impacted, right?
Yeah. Try and play it more safe in the in this, yeah. Yeah, makes sense. Makes sense. It's refreshing to see you. This is the difference, right? We found out about 20 minutes ago that we potentially both got a non-playing keeper, and you just don't seem asked, and that is refreshing because I'm automatically jumping on the whole. I need to transfer a keeper out. Yeah, I need to. It's good to see the difference between the two of us with that news. But I get your
Um,
point. I get your point on that. Like even if you get a 0 for the keeper, it's not the end of the world because you haven't had a clean sheet all season anyway.
it's not a premium position, is it? So you can always wait another game week to sort that one out. I think if it's Salah's out or Haaland's out, and there's a whole host of other midfield options, you want to jump on that. But keepers is a bit of a lottery, right?
Yeah, yeah, I get that. Interesting. Well, moving on, a bit of a longer episode this one, but to be fair, we didn't have last week together, so it was always going to be a bit of a longer one. But it's been good to be back. I'm
It's
never
man.
going to go on holiday again because this is more important. So I apologise for my
Yeah.
lack of commitment last week.
Did were you getting loads of DMs saying "Don't go away, we miss you"? Yeah.
I'm getting DMs off people saying, "Can you stay away next week as well, please?" And Matt can do it on his own. So it's been good to be back. I mean, I never really give you any closing comments. I don't know if there's anything that you're thinking about that you want to, a pearl of wisdom to go out on.
Um, I think both of us are finding it's funny. This season has been funny. I'm finding it a bit of a grind. I don't know about you. it's we need some positivity, right? So we've got to kind of like stay strong. So it's a tough one to navigate. Actually, it's a tough one to kind of get the right side of these coin flips, and we're trying different things, but not being massively successful.
Yeah, but as your point was proven before, you've looked at that the season review and we've been unlucky. We've been in the most unlucky managers. Doesn't make you feel that much better, but it does make you feel a little bit better. We've been some of the most unlucky managers in the game. So we're 60 points or so, 50, well, 48 for me, did you say, and 60 points for yourself behind where we should be. And that, interestingly, Matt, you're 12 points behind me. So in theory, we should be level on points.
I'm copying you, aren't I? I'm just 1 week behind
That's what
you.
it is.
I'm just copying you. But it is interesting actually because we've definitely branched off with you going down like a Gibbs White and Solanke route, which I think you're regretting now. But like I think they're cool players.
It's done nothing for me.
But yeah, I think this week as well. I think we'll see each other branching off in different directions again, which is good. I think it's nice having like diversity of options in it. So, I think I'm not going to double down on a mistake. Getting rid of Mbeumo was a mistake, right? So, I think he's too good to be true for that kind of price. So I reckon he's a better FPL asset actually. I think than Saka. Like despite his tough fixtures.
Saka, wow, yeah. Fair play.
I know he's got there's unfortunate timings. He's got like Liverpool and Arsenal was the next two.
Arsenal,
but those sort of games can play into Liverpool's defense and all that, and then those sort of games can play into like Brentford style. So yeah, feels a bit like points chasing.
Oh, Matt's disappeared. I'm assuming his internet's gone down. Oh, it's a good job we were at the end on that an hour ago. Oh, he's back. Don't know what happened there, Matt.
I was about,
Don't know what
I was,
happened, pal.
yeah,
You
a bit
disappeared.
premature,
But
but I
you're
was going to
back.
say thank you and good night.
Yeah, that's it. Just disappeared.
But that wasn't even a mic drop moment. It was just, yeah, it was that. That was me like tapping my fingers away. But no, I think yeah, we've got to stay strong.
Yeah, it's just, I agree. I agree. And
Then we can bring some
yeah,
like this week coming like. Well, you'll get rid of Gibbs White, but Gibbs White, it could be a week he gets his double penalty, right? Bringing that energy.
I might not end up getting rid of him. I might have to do the burn move and another. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I'm going to wait on Saka news. If Saka's out, I'll probably sell him. So we'll see.
Is
We'll
he ever
see where
out?
we end up.
Did he miss it? He missed the game this season, didn't he? Or did he actually play that one?
Saka's missed a game this season. No, he was. Was it not a week where he was going into it and everybody was like, he's injured, he's injured, he's injured, and then he played? Is it not the
Yeah, he's
City
one of
game?
those.
I might be wrong.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think he's one of those players. He's just a machine, isn't he? Like he just plays every single game.
Yeah.
No,
But if
he missed.
if it
No, he
turns
missed
out
Man City,
he's
didn't
not,
he?
yeah,
It was Bournemouth away, right? That was the rumored one. He was going to miss, right, with an injury, but he
yeah,
played that 75 minutes and he got a goal. Yeah, I think that was the game where he gave away all the penalties, right? Where he could have got about 20
yeah.
points, but he left it with one goal. Then Man City was the game after it that he missed through injury. But yeah, other than that, he's played 90 minutes.
Every game. Yeah. He got a goal and an assist in Europe against Sevilla. I'm pretty sure. But then
Yeah,
obviously went off with that little knock. So we'll see. We'll see. We'll see what
I'm
comes of
I'm
it. But
I'm surprised how many points he's got. Actually, he's got 66 points for the season, and he's just wedged between Maddison and Bowen. I thought he's had a
yeah,
tough season, like worse than that, but he's done pretty well.
oh, you're
He has
getting
done.
talked into Saka.
I mean,
You
those
talk yourself
fixtures are
into him,
nice,
aren't
aren't
you?
they? Those
You're getting
fixtures are.
talked as soon as Arteta comes out and he's like, "Oh, Saka's fit. Don't worry about it. He's playing. You're on. You're on board."
That is tough. That is, there's a bit more dilemma actually. It's really. Do you know when you go onto like the FPL site and you look at the fixtures there? Those colours really influence you. Like you don't even think. Do I think that's really a difficult fixture or an easy fixture? You just look at those greens. You're like, oh my gosh, that's a lot of bright
Yeah.
greens
Look
there.
how many greens he's got.
Yeah.
There's a lot. There's a lot coming up for Arsenal.
Yeah. Are you
But
captaining
yeah,
him
well, we'll
as
find
well?
out. We'll find out.
Yeah.
Is a which?
Are you captaining him like Saka?
No, probably not. Purely. I'll see what Arteta says. But if the likelihood is he's going to start and he's okay,
Yeah.
potentially, it's him or Salah. No, I again, I'm a Liverpool fan, so it's in case I haven't told you before, I'm a Liverpool fan. I think I don't think we've been playing that well. I'm genuinely the last couple of weeks. I think Brentford are a better team defensively than Burnley are. Brentford do things against the bigger teams,
Yeah.
like the classic top six. So I
Yeah.
think Brentford are going to make it difficult at the weekend. To be honest, I don't think we'll have an easy
Mm.
run of it. I think as a result, I think Salah will suffer. Whereas I can see Arsenal putting 4-5 past Burnley quite easily. So if Arteta comes out and says he's okay, I'll probably captain him for that reason.
Yeah.
Oh, another appearance. It's becoming a weekly thing.
It's like we're wrestling or something like that.
Yeah, Head Saka's name and came running. This is the longest time we've spent on the closing screen, which was a new record for us. But I'll keep coming to you at the end and be like, "What's your pearl of wisdom to leave on, Matt?" But
Yeah,
yeah,
sorry about that.
appreciate.
That was not short and sweet,
It
was
wasn't
it?
you. That was
That
very much
ending.
both of
But
us. That wasn't a you
I,
thing.
I was buying some time so everyone can see like the YouTube channel to subscribe to, and your new banner has plenty of time to
Yeah. For anybody
flip
that is
across.
listening and not watching, remember to click subscribe. We've got a banner and everything that scrolls across to tell you to now. So that's pretty cool. Feel free to do so. But yeah, to end as we always do. Appreciate your time. Thank you for joining us and listening. If you found this useful, please do click that like, subscribe, just so other people can find us, and also it makes us feel good, doesn't it, Matt? If to people show their support.
Oh yeah, it makes me warm and fuzzy.
Exactly, and that's what it's
Every
all
view,
about.
we love it ticking through. Yeah, we love it. We love it.
Yeah, we're gonna turn into those idiots that like appreciate you and all that, but no, but we do, we genuinely do. So thank you for joining us, and we will be back next week. You'll see our teams posted on our Twitter channels come Friday evening or Saturday morning. So remember at FPL Journey to 10K for me, Dave, and more importantly at FPL Corbs to Jay and Matt because he's the one with the real talent amongst the two of us. But yeah, thank you very much for joining us. We'll look forward to the game week. Best of luck for it. And we look forward to seeing you hopefully next week as well.